A reading from the first book of Samuel. The Lord said to Samuel, "Fill your horn with oil and be on your way. I am sending you to Jesse of Bethlehem, for I have chosen my king from among his sons." As Jesse and his sons came to the sacrifice, Samuel looked at Eliab and thought, "Surely the Lord's anointed is here before him." But the Lord said to Samuel, "Do not judge from his appearance or from his lovely stature, because I have rejected him. Not as man sees, does God see, because man sees the appearance, but the Lord looks into the heart." In the same way, Jesse presented 7 sons before Samuel. But Samuel said to Jesse, "The Lord has not chosen any of these." Then Samuel asked Jesse, "Are these all the sons you have?" Jesse replied, "There is still the youngest, who is tending the sheep." Samuel said to Jesse, "Send for him. We will not begin the sacrificial banquet until he arrives here." Jesse sent and had the young man brought to them. He was ruddy, a youth handsome to behold, and making a splendid appearance. The Lord said, "There, anoint him, for this is the one." Then Samuel, with the horn of oil in hand, anointed David in the presence of his brothers. And from that day on, the Spirit of the Lord rushed upon David. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
What do we do? This is a fairly common question already, at least for those of us who like to plan ahead. But it has become an increasingly widespread question to every moment of our life. There is uncertainty. Uncertainty about the past, the present, and the future. To some degree, we're all experiencing suffering and anxiety in the midst of this uncertainty. We already don't know what the future holds or can comprehend everything in the past or even the present. Yet we are now more aware of this than ever, possibly in our lifetime. This experience is humbling because we more tangibly recognize our insignificance in the complexity of this world in comparison with God's infinite omniscience. This is humbling for those of us who think that we know a lot. We are faced with the reality that we can't possibly know everything. So, what do we do? In this reading, Jesse presents 7 of his sons to Samuel. He was sure that the chosen one was one of these. Samuel too was impressed with Eliab's appearance and stature, but the Lord was quick to correct him. Not as man sees, does God see. Jesse doesn't even present David, the youngest one. He was following his own judgment. Samuel was initially judging from appearance only, but then he listened, and the Lord told him who to anoint. Samuel was demonstrating that we cannot rely on ourselves alone. Rather, we are to rely on God's guidance, especially during this time. And we ask again, what do we do? The answer, my brothers and sisters, lies in allowing God to be our guide. We need to listen for God's guidance in our prayer and from what the authorities are telling us, to keep social distance, to wash our hands, to stay home if you can. In a sense, we already know what to do. Maybe we need to be asking a different question. What are we to learn from this experience? We learn to be humble before God, a God who is omniscient. Jesse was humbled. He brought his 7 sons thinking, one of these must be the one. But Samuel, by listening to God's guidance, was humbling himself before the Lord, who knows everything. During this time of confusion, uncertainty, and anxiety, there is something that we can learn. We are learning to approach the Lord, to come before Him with a sense of humility. We are learning that we are in God's hands. This is a lesson for us that tells us that we can't do everything. We are recognizing that we don't know everything. In moments when some can't receive the Eucharist this Sunday, it is a time of yearning for God more than ever. Seek Him in your daily life, especially now that we are aware of our limitations. We are to offer praise to God and to acknowledge His greatness. This is a time of learning, a time to be humble before God.
Yeah.